PHNX Coyotes podcast, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download today using code PHNX, place a $1 bet on any NFL game, and win $100 in free bets if either team scores a point. It's just that easy. Good morning. It is episode 20 of the PHNX Coyotes podcast. I'm Leah Merrill here with Craig Morgan and Steve Peters. As always,
got our coffee.
PD doesn't.
Don't have coffee for you? You don't need
PD
coffee.
came in a little frantic this morning.
Came in a little hot today.
What else? But I feel like
I was
this
working
is a
on the
theme.
winter grass. I'm working on the winter grass in my backyard, and I go, "Oh my gosh, we got a show in an hour."
So can we talk about the winter grass process first of all, because we're doing the same thing right now?
Well,
how crazy do you get?
We've talked about my landscaping on the show before, and we'll get to more of that later.
Yeah.
But I know it's hard to believe when you look at my anxiety and stuff, how I get about my landscaping. I'm a little particular about my landscaping.
I can't see that about you.
So you have to do a
Shocks me.
thermometer in the ground. You're looking for a soil temperature between 50 and
Oh
55.
my gosh.
And then it's time for winter grass. You got to have lower, cooler temperatures at night and hot, sunny temperatures during the day. So some people wait till almost Halloween. I get it in the first week of October. Today is day 6, and the entire yard is sprouted. It looks fantastic. The biggest problem I have is the birds. So I've got
Eating the seed.
can't get
Yeah.
away from them.
Yeah.
I've tried the glitter tape. I've tried horns. I've tried sounds of owls.
Rental cats.
So if anybody's got any
No.
great
Can
ideas,
we just get like a camera on
An
you
owl.
trying to chase
So,
the birds away from
It may
your
sound
grass?
crazy, but you and my wife should get together. Because let me
wow.
let me
Wow,
start
that's
it
a whole
off
new
here.
show.
I
Hey, now.
I am not competent when it comes to
Wow.
landscaping. My wife is amazing when it comes to landscaping, and I am essentially the hired help. Go trim that bush. Okay.
Seriously, can we just do the
That's how it
manscape read
works.
right now? Like,
But
Segue.
okay, can we talk about aerating a lawn? How do you aerate your lawn? How do you
Well,
get the little holes?
I've
To...
lost control.
you
ahead.
can't do it with the poke. All it does is push and compact the dirt
Yes.
tighter. You have to rent a machine that
You
pulls out.
guys.
stuff.
Well, you can
guys.
do that.
Semantics.
Guys,
You
I
can
need
do
my
what
quiet please sign.
you can do what Tara does. She
The
has
foot ones?
shoes
Shoes.
with spikes on the bottom,
Okay.
and
I'm
I watch her
crying.
walking over every inch.
Craig, did you not
of
hear
our
what spikes
lawn.
do? When the spike goes into the ground, what does it do? It compacts the dirt around it tighter.
So I should tell her this is
wrong.
not the way to go. Okay.
Aerating means you need to open up the soil. It means you take those plugs out of
Yeah.
the dirt.
I
So
would tell her
spikes are the
straight
exact
to the
opposite.
camera, but
Enough.
she's not watching.
Okay.
Enough.
Sorry, hockey talk.
Oh my god.
More on landscaping later.
Okay,
Oh my
Takeaway:
God.
Petey says you're wrong, Tara. Sorry, you need to change your methods.
But
I'd be
I do
glad
have
to
to
come over.
acknowledge Tara because she did bake muffins and they were delicious.
Pumpkin muffins and
Pumpkin spice muffins.
muffins.
Yes.
Yep, by the way,
So
pumpkin anything.
Good stuff.
today's
except coffee.
today's podcast is fueled by those muffins.
And she bakes many other things, which is why I gained a pound for every month of COVID. We're working on that. Should we bring Aaron in now?
Aaron.
Oh yeah, so Shane is behind the computer as always, but we have a new face back there. Aaron will be joining us starting next week as our producer for the Coyote Show, and she will
Slindy.
be on some
Aaron Slindy.
shows in the future. So
Yeah.
Glad
Another
to-
Minnesotan adding to
yeah,
the podcast.
and,
Kinda excited
and
about that.
another woman. Stoked about that.
I like
All right.
it. How's that intro,
What?
Aaron? Was that pretty? Yeah, there we go.
Well, before we get into
Oh, and
hockey,
Shane's here too.
I said he was there.
I'm gonna show myself anyway.
Oh my god.
All right.
Okay, well before we get into hockey, we need to address something that happened in the office this week. Which is that last week Petey made a comment about the Suns and the Suns show. We have a little friendly rivalry with the PHNX Suns show. And it has escalated. They showed a clip from our show on their show and then talked about it. And then Craig and I were in the comments. Craig was in the comments
I was on Discord.
talking.
Yes.
You were talking
In the Suns
smack.
Discord?
I was chirping.
In the
No,
Suns
no.
Discord?
On
Our
in
Discord.
their
Yeah,
YouTube.
the Suns Discord. Yeah, while they were on, while they were on
Yeah.
the YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
not
right.
the Discord, the
Not
YouTube
Discord,
sorry.
comments.
Yes.
So then we were talking about our Twitter following and how they have like 5,000 followers and we have about 1,500.
Yeah.
And Espo made a promise, and why don't we go ahead and roll that?
Look, I'm going to say this directly to the camera and directly into the mic so you guys can hear this real clear, Coyotes, PHNX Coyotes.
Craig is
I'm
feeling
gonna
up
make.
this.
If you guys can get to 5,000 by December, I will put on goalie pads. You can pick any hockey player, and I will take a slap shot. All right, that's how much faith I have that you guys will not catch us
Without
up
a
to
face
5,000.
mask.
And I did not say
Oh,
without.
God.
Hey.
Nobody wants this any worse looking than it
Speaking
is.
speaking
got
of slap
Chad.
shots,
We got
yeah.
Chad.
Speaking
Let's
of
go.
slap shots, Craig goes. Also, a question for Espo. Can you explain to the viewers how a team that went to the NBA Finals, a team that is the Valley's original major sports team, is trailing in merch sales behind
Oh.
behind a team that hasn't won a standard playoff round in 9 years and is planning to be awful this season? No judgment here. It just perplexes.
Oh, man. Wow. Aggressive.
I don't have to say anything more, do I?
It's on.
Craig came in hot.
So
in the
5,000, huh? We got to
Five-
get to 5,000.
So we have to get to 5,000 by the end of the year, and Espo will take a slap shot by any player of our choosing.
I have a few players in
Yeah.
mind. I'm sure you do too.
Yeah.
so,
Like thinking about the heaviest slap shots I know. Jacob Chikrin would be a good
Well,
one.
Chick for sure. I wouldn't mind Kessel's because Kessel can pick his spots.
What's Al McInnes up to these days?
Oh boy! But how many feet did he break in that series? Another show.
oh.
But I'm all in. I mean, I don't know how this whole social Twitter thing works yet. Still figuring it out.
So this is a call to action to everyone listening. If you're not following at PHNX_Coyotes, go follow them now. Tell your friends, tell your family, do your animal accounts.
Make a
whatever.
burner account.
Yeah, your burner accounts, whatever.
Yep.
5,000 followers in the next 2 or 3 months.
Yes,
And-
and in return, we can promise you a snuff film starring Greg Esposito.
so we just we needed to address that. Follow us on Twitter. All right.
You can buy followers still, right? Just ask. Not that we would do that, of course.
Oh man. All right. Well, let's dive into hockey and Coyotes.
Hockey, that's why we're here. That's what we're about.
We've gone on about grass and Twitter followers and
Mhm.
muffins. Anyway, good start. All right. Well, let's start with in the middle of last night's game, Alex Galchenyuk signed a 1-year, $750,000 contract with the Coyotes.
To be clear, he did not sign it in the middle of the
It
game.
was
last
announced
night.
in the middle of the
It was a fun
game.
joke. It was announced. Well, it was not even announced. It was reported by Darren Drager, and I was able to confirm that. And clearly, they're working on this for a while. We've talked about this a lot. There's no way Alex Galchenyuk comes to Coyotes training camp and turns down a genuine contract offer from the Toronto Maple Leafs, where he experienced a bit of a renaissance last season without some assurance that he was going to have an opportunity. You knew this was going to happen at some point. Now he has the opportunity, a 1-year deal for the league minimum, so it's good for the Coyotes too.
Yeah, I think it's good for everybody all around. And Alex Galchenyuk publicly has stated he likes living here. He likes the community here, kept his house here. His family likes it here. I think it's a win for everybody. Financially, it's a win for the Coyotes. And as a player in the room, he's a nice guy. Like he's jovial. He's a good presence in the locker room. And more importantly, he's a pretty good player. Like he can bring some offensive upside to this Coyotes team that's going to really struggle for scoring. I think he's a guy that's going to be able to put points on the board. I'm interested to see how he slots out. We have to see the full power play units together, which we haven't really seen because
Right.
of the jumbled lineups throughout preseason. He's a guy that I think could get some time on the first unit. We'll have to wait and see how it falls out. But he is going to add scoring to this team. I think it's a win. I think it's another good job by Bill Armstrong in filling out a cast of characters to get through the construction zone and the rebuild.
Provided he doesn't score too much, right?
Well, and there is the fear, but so I was one of the ones that said if he scores a lot and gets some 2 or 3 extra points from 15 to 18 goals by the trade deadline, then what was the purpose? We're not necessarily looking for wins from this club, but you don't have to wait till the trade deadline. If he starts out and he's scoring, I doubt he has a no trade in this contract. I'm sure you'll find out more as this progresses. But if he starts off with 5 goals in 20 games, he becomes available as trade bait early because there are going to be teams out of the gate that are having difficulty scoring. And if he can score early, I don't see why you couldn't trade him much, much earlier than the trade deadline. So it becomes less risky of him winning games for you if you have the ability to move him earlier.
Look, that's part of Bill Armstrong's strategy with some of these guys he brought in. I'm not saying that all of them are going to revive their careers. Some of them may, in fact, be at the end of their careers. But if 2-3 guys get a little spike in performance, you may be able to flip them for even more assets. And, we talked about, do they really want to add any more draft picks next season? Probably not, but you can always push them out to the following season and just keep accumulating assets for that scouting staff that you've invested a lot of resources in.
We're going to spend some time today talking about the lines and how this roster is going to fill out for the Coyotes. Our expected ideas on how that's going to fill out. And we'll get a chance to talk about some of these guys and how they fill up and down the lineup. And we look at, they had Boyd at center on the, I guess, the top line last night. Well,
they're missing 2 centers, Beagle and Hayton are out.
So, he played with better players, and I thought it's the best he's looked in preseason. And again, you put a center iceman with better wingers, you hope that they look better on the ice. So he's a player that, when you put that list of 1-year guys that could move, that list could be,
There's a lot of 1-year guys.
It could be really long.
We're talking Louis Eriksson, Ryan DeZingle, like as you said.
Is Roussel a guy that can help round out a lineup in the bottom 6 for a team
Roussel, absolutely.
That's looking for some strength? Carter Hutton, and let's talk about Carter Hutton. I've been moderately critical of how the goaltending has gone throughout this camp and preseason. Carter Hutton won the game yesterday. He was arguably the best player on the ice.
Yeah.
I know he had a few pipes.
It took him a time to warm to the game, and that's understandable.
He hasn't played in a while.
4
he played only 13 games last season. He was out early with the injury. There's a lot to overcome there, and then you're coming to a new team. There's a lot to deal with, so it took him a little ways to warm into the game, but man, 38 saves. He absolutely was the difference in that game last night.
The dichotomy of a Coyote fan. Like, what do you want? You go, great, he was awesome, but do you want Carter Hutton stealing games for you this season? I don't know.
But we have to win some games. Like, we can't go 0-82, so you might as well make them fun and like have a few moments of joy in a dark season.
And he's a guy you can root for, right?
Absolutely.
Like he's a guy that's had a tough career and he's done things the right way, and you look at him and go, okay, I can get behind him. And him playing like that gives, I guess, the fans that want to see some wins, it gives you a little bit of hope, because he stole that game. They got outshot 2-1. He was the difference. He was outstanding. He made the big saves when he needed to, and gets the Coyotes to 4-1 in preseason.
I love beating LA, even in preseason.
I think all Valley fans do, right?
Dustin Brown is still out there playing? I saw him again on the bench, and it brings back all those awful memories of 2012. And I can't believe he's still playing.
The hit on Roosevelt.
And how hard he plays every night, and he can still be playing in the league today. His role is diminished over time.
Sure.
But I'm with Leah on this one. Anytime an Arizona team can beat a team from LA, I will take it. Preseason, basketball, football, beat LA.
And honestly, it's been a one-sided rivalry when you look at
I know.
relative success of the two cities. The Valley has one championship, so let's just lay it out there. Maybe. We'll see. But back to Carter Hutton. I dove into, I have a story up on him that I posted last night. Sorry, I meant to have it up earlier, but I was struggling a bit writing. It was one of those days.
You get writer's block?
Oh gosh, everyone does at some point.
I don't know.
You should have heard me. If there had been a mic in my house yesterday, it wouldn't have been
maybe that's why your wife baked muffins this morning.
Yep.
Or that's the podcast.
Yeah, I think I
mic it.
I think I rewrote it 10 times. But we're talking about paths to the NHL. Carter Hutton's path is crazy. Like, even as he told me, even when he was a kid in Thunder Bay, he couldn't make the AAA team. So and that's where you get seen, right? When you're going to all these tournaments. So he ends up in some minor junior A league. He ends up at UMass Lowell, which just played ASU. He actually went to the game on Sunday. They never make the NCAA tournament. He has a great senior season, but he's never drafted, so he has to sign an amateur tryout with the Flyers AHL affiliate, which is just crazy path. He bounces around, gets a start with the Blackhawks during their second cup season, gets a ring, but they don't put his name on the cup or put him in the team photo. Then he's off to Nashville to back up Pekka Rinne. Finally gets a break in St. Louis that leads to Buffalo. And you really don't want any of your big breaks to lead to Buffalo, because usually that's where the wheels come off, and they did. So crazy path for this guy. It's really easy to root for him.
Somebody just said, is the glove holding a Coyote soda? Yes, it is.
Is it a Coyote soda? I've always wondered about
speaking
that.
of
I
that,
haven't
we
actually
just-
looked closely.
Let's segue from the game for 1 second. We talked about earlier in the podcast season the throwback Kachina Ale that I was supposed to
Oh,
bring
yeah.
in. We do need to decide when we're breaking that out. Is it opening night in Columbus or is it opening
opener.
home opener?
Let's do the home opener.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just
We need
digress.
we probably need some work.
So
on
Carter
this.
Hutton was one
Can
bright
people
spot.
even see this? Really?
Yes, look at it.
Yes.
I need
Also,
to-
Shane
Craig,
set
look at
that
the
up.
monitor.
He
I know,
works
but
very
Shane
hard.
has very few props to work with. We don't give him material, so we need to give him more. I mean, the shelves here. are
Maybe
good.
when Aaron starts producing the setup, will look
The
nicer.
aesthetics. Well,
Wow.
Seriously?
Shots fired at Shane.
Okay.
That's tough early. in
What
the
the hell is that about?
Today I told
Where's
Shane
the
that
horn?
he has a memorable face and he
Where's
does
the
not
bike horn?
take it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm telling you, that's
Leah's
why
coming in hot today. On a,
Mhm.
what day? Wednesday?
This is a toxic work environment.
we spend a lot of time together. Oh,
Two more goal
man.
scores I want to mention from last night's
Yes.
game, and two more bright spots, and then we can move on to our next segment. And Craig, again, your Canadian following is only going to grow as this player
King
continues
Louis.
to play with King Louis.
The Renaissance
Louis,
continues.
Yes.
Again, with
We're gonna
another
make
goal.
the T-shirt. I hope we're gonna make the T-shirt. Now I've laid it out there.
And if
so
you listen to the
kind of
podcast
obligated.
yesterday, I said the player to lead the team in goals would be Louis Eriksson. And then last night, through two periods, I'm going, oh no. People are going to hold my feet to the fire. Luckily, comes through with another one. And then Lawson Krause with two.
he's got 4 goals in the preseason.
And you know what? He looks strong. He's getting to the right areas. And all of
And
his
he's finishing.
goals are
not hitting the
inside the
posts.
dots.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
For him to get those opportunities is a great sign for this team. Because if
Absolutely.
he can elevate his offensive game, he's physical, he skates well. If he can add to the offensive side of this team, I think he could be one of the big key players for the entire season.
Yeah, and I had a story. I wrote a story recently on him, I think 4 days ago, how much he's looking forward to this fresh start. New coach, new opportunities, playing higher in the lineup, playing in different situations, getting more ice time. Right now, he's taking advantage of it. And by the way, I'm just going to tease this too. I've got 2 more pieces of Lawson Krause-related content coming soon. I'm not going to say any more than that.
Wow.
Wow, that's quite a tease. Also, Connor Timmins scored a goal last night as well.
Got the empty netter.
Yep. So a lot of
Krause made the play on that too. Got him the puck.
Wow, that's awesome. I when I worked for the Roadrunners, Lawson Krause is on the Roadrunners, so it's been cool to watch his journey. Actually, there's a iconic photo that was in the Arizona Daily Star in Tucson, and it's Lawson Krause hitting the boards like on a hit in Tucson, and I'm standing behind the glass like I was taking pictures, and I like reacted like.
Got the face.
and
That's
that is
great.
captured, and then they posted it on their website as like the photo for the
That should be
story.
your avatar.
I really should.
or your
I
banner or
will. I
something.
will tweet that photo
Yeah.
later because it is iconic. But anyway, any other thoughts from the game last night?
One to go.
One
more
more.
preseason. to
Gabe
go.
Velarde looks really good, by the way.
Wow. Yeah, he was a good player. Oh, and,
Wow.
and the injury.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, Ryan Gibbons, the linesman, collided with Liam O'Brien just after the anthem. Suffered a concussion, but we are told that he's been released from the hospital.
It was
and he's-
scary. It didn't.
Yeah, it was
honestly,
really
if you
scary.
watch it over and over, it didn't look like much.
Yeah.
But when you see the reaction from both medical teams, both staffs from both teams on the ice. By the way, honestly, a shout out to Dave Zanobi and Donnie Fuller. When they're over the boards like that in an opposing arena with the opposing doctors and medical staff, if you watch that whole procedure, how professional and smooth and quick and calm that staff is, that was incredibly impressive. So kudos to those guys. Glad he's out of the hospital. He hates to see anybody get injured. And the last injury is Quentin Byfield, too, the premier player and the rising prospect for the LA Kings, went in awkwardly to the boards on a Kristen Fisher hit. And I haven't heard any follow-up on that, and it did not look good.
I was talking to a couple reporters in LA last night, and they suspect Byfield's going to be out a while, and that's a big injury for
Yeah.
LA.
That's tough. It's
Yeah.
tough.
It sucks for them too, especially because they're in that Pacific Division where it's kind of wide open.
It is.
And
There's-
LA was one of those teams, at least that I thought that has the chance to kind of have a bounce back year. So
no question. There's
I-
playoff spots
yeah.
up for grabs.
I
in
know
that
I
division.
know I hate LA, but I never like to see anyone hurt and I want the league to be competitive. So we'll keep tabs on that as well. Well, like you mentioned, there's one preseason game left tomorrow night, and you can actually bet on that game on DraftKings Sportsbook.
And it's in Vegas.
Wow. Look at that. But if you don't want to do that, you could bet just $1 on any NFL game and get $100 in free bets if either team scores a point, which the last 0-0 tie in the NFL was in 1943. So your odds for that are looking good, and you can do that by signing up for the DraftKings Sportsbook app using the promo code PHNX. And you can DraftKings is safe, secure, reliable. You can deposit, withdraw your money whenever you want. Unlike some others where it takes days to get your money, you can do it right away. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use that promo code PHNX, and then if you do your $1 on any NFL game and either team scores a point, you get your $100 in free bets, and then you can use the free bets to bet on NHL preseason or player futures, or you can save it for the regular season that starts next week. I cannot believe the regular season already starts next week. That's 21 and over, Arizona only, gambling problem, 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And I gotta say, the last 24 hours, our members-only Discord has been
lively,
very lively. In fact, we just talked about Lawson Krause. Someone just before we started had a hot take that they think they could see Lawson Krause as the captain in the near future.
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. I mean, it's another guy who probably could be in the leadership group.
Well, yeah, and we will address some of the stuff mentioned in the Discord a little later, but you can be part of that members-only Discord in which Petey and Craig and I do try when we can get a word in.
I know. I tell you what, there are some very knowledgeable hockey people in that Discord, and I'm being serious. Like it's sometimes I'm like, well, maybe I'll just get out of here before they know I was here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you can get access to that Discord by becoming a member at gophnx.com, which is also where you can access all of Craig's stories, all the stories by all the talented people here at PHNX on every beat. And like Craig just teased some stories. So, and
do you want me to talk to Abe?
Oh,
should I address Abe?
Would you?
Abe?
Yes. Why don't you
go ahead and talk to Abe Vigoda? You and me, buddy, right now. Okay.
Discord guy.
The prediction show was lighthearted. Petey even said at the start of it, "Don't hold us to any of these."
I said, "Don't listen to us."
Yeah. Yeah. So, am I predicting that there's going to be a parade down Central? No, I'm not really. It's really hard to win Stanley Cups. But on the topic of the arena, I have written about the arena already. We've talked about it for a full show, and I'll have another story coming soon. When there is news to report on the arena, I will report it. Right now, Tempe, the city of Tempe, is in deliberations. There's not a lot to say. I will address some of the recent issues, quote-unquote issues that have come up, like the airport. But again, we'll talk about the arena when it is warranted, and I do have another story coming up. But just so you know, don't take things so seriously on that predictions. Anybody who's followed me for a while knows. I like it. We're going to stick with that. Predictions. I don't do predictions ever. I hate predictions. Most people know this that have followed me for a while. So when you hear me doing that on a show, take it with a grain of salt.
Oh, man. There's a lot going on behind the camera.
There is. There's like all sorts of activity behind the camera. You have no idea.
I just got so distracted. Well, if you want Craig to directly address you to your face and become a member and talk in the members only Discord. And you can read his arena stories at gophnx.com. So, all right. Well, you just said you hate predictions. Now let's do some more.
Yeah, and I can give you a little insight into how I pick my forward lines as well.
I just need to say something because yesterday we were talking about submitting each of our predictions, and then Craig, as he was leaving, said, "I'm gonna call the coach." And
he's gonna do what?
He said he was gonna
try and get a hold of the coach, but I
get a hold of the coach and just put the real lines.
Oh yeah, like you're not leaning on your sources over there, buddy. Yeah, look at that grid behind that.
No,
hidden by the microphone.
I am not even close. After looking at what some of the pairings they had together last night, and again, we talk about forward lines as a group of 3 players, but most often coaches pair 2 guys together, and then they rotate that third guy through until they find a real good chemistry. And you might have a group of 3 stay together for a long period of time, but most often you'll see a pair of 2 stay together and that third player rotating in and out as time progresses throughout the season. So we're doing this as forward, defense, and goaltenders. We're predicting lines, who's in, who's out, who's heading to Tucson. Is that a fair?
Well,
intro?
I mean, I don't know if we got as far as who's heading to Tucson.
Some
I mean,
people did
but-
in their replies on Twitter.
Yeah.
I will say, but
Yeah.
I did.
We do have some. Yeah, we do have some.
Yeah, we also
listener-
have some listener
who starts?
projections. And keep in mind, like the predictions episode, this is all just us just
These are facts.
having
Yeah,
fun.
In fact, stick to it. You take it to the bank.
I'll go first. You can put mine up. But what I'll say about I feel pretty good about the pairs that I put up and the goaltending depth chart. As far as the forward lines, yeah, I gave it some thought. But
He is Kessel on the fourth line.
I was also writing. Don't get too hung up on all that. Yeah, listen. I don't know how long Phil Kessel's even going to be a Coyote. They're trying to trade him, and he wants to be traded. So we'll see how that goes. But the thing with forward lines is important to remember is they change often. If guys aren't clicking together, coaches will reshuffle the lines. They'll try and find a better mix. And as Petey said, a lot of times coaches think in pairs, two guys that work together, and then that third guy rotates through. But sometimes the whole thing isn't working, and you just see them blow it up and try different combinations. That will absolutely happen. It always happens. But as far as the pairs, I feel good about Jacob Chikrin and Anton Strawman on the top pair because Andre Tourigny has said that's what they're going to do. The second pair then I think becomes pretty obvious with Shane Gostisbehere and Connor Timmins. Again, the lefty-righty split where you can do it with all of these pairs. And then I still think Kyle Capobianco belongs on that third pair on the left side with Ilya Lyubushkin on the right side. And then you work in Vladislav Provolnev when you can against heavier teams. Let him get used to the North American ice, to the NHL game. I don't think Capobianco should be in a 7 role anyway, where he's just sitting on the bench. If you're going to do that, you might as well just send him down to Tucson where he can play.
Two notable names missing from your forward groups are Andrew Ladd and Liam O'Brien.
Yeah.
And I think you're probably right. Well, and the biggest issue is when you look at, and there's all kinds of sources online where you can go and see the contract status of these players. Liam O'Brien, unfortunately, is the only player of that forward group that has a two-way contract, which means he gets paid a lesser amount when he's playing for Tucson than when he's playing for the Arizona Coyotes. Financially, he's going to Tucson. I think he's had a great camp. I think he's played well in preseason games. I think he probably deserves to be in the top 12 on opening night. He just won't be. And it's finances. It's a business. He's going to start in Tucson. He'll play great down there, and his role will be there. Andrew Ladd, kind of where you expected him to be, outside looking in, unless he was exceptional. He's had some injuries through preseason, so I don't think he fits in either. The one surprise to me is, and I had a difficulty, I went player by player and tried to slot them, the same player. I look at Phil Kessel, where you have him, where the hell does he fit? One, he's been hurt, hasn't had any time to get into shape. Where does he fit in this top 12? He's in the top 12. If he's healthy, he's playing, but where does he fit? Like, can he play top line minutes right now after being out for the entire preseason? So you slot him in for fourth line minutes. Well, he's not an effective fourth line player. He doesn't get first on the puck. He's not physical on the wall. So he can't be a fourth line player either. So where is Phil Kessel going to fit in this lineup? I think is going to be a huge question because he has to play if he wants to get traded and get out of Arizona.
Exactly.
So he's the biggest question mark for me on where he fits in this line.
Someone in the chat just asked, has Yaskin even played? But
yeah, he's played.
yes.
He's the other one I saw in your top line. When I was jumbling the guys in, and the coaches talk about putting ping pong balls in and just throwing them in the air and picking your lines. That's kind of what this is with this exercise. Dmitry Jaskin is another guy that I had higher expectations for coming out of the KHL, leading the league in scoring, offensive threat. Haven't noticed him. And I think for an offensive player, you need to show something during preseason. You don't need to score, but you need to make nice plays. You need to be skating well. You need to be possessing the puck offensively. He has done none of those things right now. And I know it's preseason. Doesn't mean he can't as the season progresses. But I haven't noticed him. So putting him in a spot, if I have to play a game tomorrow and all chips are down, Liam O'Brien's in the lineup over Dmitry Yaskin for me. Just because
but
he's going to
that's not what you
do
put
something.
in your lines.
I did not put that.
Should
in
we
my
pull
lines.
up? Should we pull up Petey's? There we go.
Not
So
feeling
very
good about
similar,
this?
but again, I tried to go with
He
pairs.
has
and
Ladd as his extra forward.
yeah, I put him on Craig was implied.
Yeah, that's implied from
He's a
me,
writer.
too.
He implies it. So
Yeah.
Erickson and Schmaltz. I thought as we talk about the pairs, it's an Erickson and
And
Schmaltz
you inferred
pairs.
it from what I
Is that true?
Yes.
See, don't. Grammar and spelling is not my strong suit. I'm going to make up words, and I have already as the season has progressed. So Erickson and Schmaltz, I see as a pair, and
Yes.
that third slot, it could be Keller at times, it could be Kessel at times. If Yaskin picks up, it could be Yaskin. But I see Erickson and Schmaltz. I think they've had chemistry in preseason. I think that's a pair that starts together. Krause and Keller, I say the same. That middle slot between Larson, Beagle, and Boyd, they can go up and down. But Beagle and Roussel play together,
Yes.
know each other. They're friends. They kill together. Roussel and Beagle will play together. And if
They kill
don't,
together?
I'd be surprised. What?
They kill together, did you say? They're like a serial killer
I
team?
know. I
What's-
digress. But
Okay.
and I don't know another player that I don't know fits quite yet is Ryan DeZingle. Where is he going to be up and down the lineup? He played in a top 6 role yesterday, and I thought he played well. He can play on the bottom. I think you'll see him go up and down the lineup. The D
Sure.
pairs are virtually the same as what you had. I put Provlenev in to start just because of Capobianco's injury through training camp. I don't think he'll be ready for day one physically and up to game speed. So that's why I have Provlenev in that spot. And we agreed on the goaltenders. Hutton's proved he's the guy.
One more point on Andrew Ladd, and we talked about this on the other show. I do think he's going to be the extra forward, but if the Coyotes decide they want to put Andrew Ladd on waivers and send him down to Tucson, they can do it. I don't see anybody claiming Andrew Ladd off waivers and saying, we're going to put you on our NHL squad. It's not going to happen, right? So if they need that spot, if they feel like they want someone else in that role, they can send Andrew Ladd down to Tucson. It's not going to be a problem.
Don't disagree, but I disagree. I don't know what I was trying to be kind there. I don't know what Andrew Ladd in Tucson's going to do. You're not trying to develop him. You're not going to play him down there ahead of some of the prospects.
What about that veteran presence, though, that we talked about that you need to win in the AHL?
Different there because in a role here as an extra forward, he's not impacting people's ice times. If you send him down to Tucson and don't play him, now he's your 25th forward. I don't know what kind of message that sends to the player, and how does he go to the rink every day being an extra forward in the American League? Not saying it can't happen.
Yep.
I'm just saying in the role you're looking for him to provide as an extra player, it's easier to do that here at the National League level than at the American League level, and you don't want him taking away ice time from a player that you're trying to progress and get up here to play in Arizona. I hope the pieces come together for Andrew Ladd. I hope that he does get his game back to where he wants it to be, where he can be an effective 13, where he's in and out of the lineup on injuries and back-to-backs and those situations. I hope that's where he gets to.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say about Ladd in Tucson, but I'm also not convinced that Tucson has a complete lineup of prospects that are looking to get to the NHL level, so there might be a spot for him in Tucson.
And that's fair.
I really struggled with this once I had all the players in front of me, and I was like, oh, yeah, duh. And then I said, wait, what about this person? Like, this was hard. So I feel for the coaches. You can pull mine up. Kind of similar-ish to both of yours, or I guess more to Petey's. And I put Capobianco as the 7th defenseman, and I understand your point on why he should not be in that position, but he is yet to break through and really
at the
be,
NHL level,
and
absolutely
really be
right.
like an everyday NHL player. And I hope that he does. Like, I want him to. Mississauga. He's from Mississauga. Shout out Mississauga.
He's also the nephew of Behind the Mask founder Randy Exelby, who played for the Roadrunners here in town. So,
Wow, so
cool
many
little
little connections. And because then I had it set, and then I was like, well, what about Galchenyuk? Because I really see him in that line. So I just threw it out there. We'll see. I put Keller on the top line. I know he hasn't performed in the preseason so far, and I know on the prediction episode I predicted him to have his comeback season. I still want that. I'm gonna just speak it. Manifest.
Will it into reality.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not? So
He needs to.
I'll be
I
on
mean,
the Clayton Keller train for now. But yeah, that's
Well,
my.
As often happens in the coach's room, and this is true, you forget somebody. And when Leah put hers up there, I didn't have Alex Galchenyuk in my top 13. They just signed him.
Yep.
I just got done telling you how he's going to be an offensive help, and then I don't put him in my lineup. Alex Galchenyuk is playing top 12. So now we have enough. Now we have 14 one-way contracts on this
Yeah,
team.
this was hard.
To your point now, does Ladd become expendable? Because do you want Yaskin or DeZingle as your extra forward, or
Yeah.
is Boyd and Larson come out of the lineup and somebody else slides to the middle?
Yeah.
Ladd now is your 14th forward, and Gally, I'm really sorry because I know you tune into this. You're probably listening live right now on your drive. No, probably not.
Oh, he's texting me right now.
Yeah,
I would have believed it.
But I apologize because he's
Why
playing.
does Petey hate me?
He is. He's playing.
You want to address that?
And not only that, he'll probably play in the top 6. So
He should, right? I mean, if you're going to have him, that's where he belongs.
yeah. So I apologize, Alex Galchenyuk.
Somebody said Ladd versus Galchenyuk seems to be a question for the extra forward, and then someone said, well, one can skate and one can't.
Yeah, it's so hard to watch
Kudos
Andrew
to you.
Ladd because he wants to be. You can tell how hard he is working at this and how badly he wants this all to fall in place for him, and it's physically just not happening right now. And I can't imagine what he must be going through, when practice isn't over or these games are over, and how mentally difficult this must be for him because he has played at such a high level on very good teams, and he just hasn't been able to put it together here yet. Not saying he can't or he won't. He just hasn't yet.
Keep talking. I'm trying to get some information while we're on the air here.
See, Craig never stops working. Work.
Well, we
Unbelievable.
last night we
Grubhub?
asked you listeners to
Amazon?
send in your projected lineups. So we got a few responses. Let's just throw them up. Oh, that's my friend Spencer. Shout out Spencer.
See, Spencer remembered Galchenyuk at least. So he's a step ahead of me.
Let's see.
And he could probably get here on time too.
Oh my gosh. All right, let's see some others.
See, my problem with that one was Eriksson. I mean, he's a guy, I think if he's going to play, he's got to play top 6. I don't see...
Every time you say he's a guy, I hear Harry Carey for some reason. Oh, that's
Is that
complete.
true?
Did he have Erickson in the
Here's
bottom?
the guy.
Yes, he had
Sorry.
He had King Louis in
Breaking
the,
the Harry Carey
bottom.
on the air.
You
You guys even know who Harry Carey is
No.
behind the camera? Any of you?
No. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, yeah,
Jake,
no
you
idea,
better
Craig.
know
I'll
Harry.
humor
I
you.
know.
I'll
Yeah,
humor
let's
you,
not-
Craig.
I think of Chris Paul.
Sure.
I just think of the guys.
Here's a guy.
Exactly.
Exactly.
See?
Yeah. I grew up in Chicago,
You need
so
to take a
I grew
picture
up
of
on
all
Harry.
of them behind there.
calling
It's
Cubs games.
We have
really
another
White
stressful.
Sox games.
Yeah, but there's 4 more.
4?
Yeah.
That many people listening?
Oh my.
Chris has been, by the way, Chris is a very active
Yes.
member of the Discord and Twitter. Is it Discord or Twitter? Twitter.
Pete, come on.
I can't. It's all this social thing.
But look,
No way you're that.
Chris put who he thinks is in Tucson. Like he
I know,
did that.
Very in-depth.
Chris went the extra mile.
I like
Chris
it.
does, and Chris is a very in-depth guy. He knows his hockey. There's no question. Were you taking a picture? Of
Yeah, I was
Chris
taking a picture of all of them, the peanut gallery behind the camera. All right.
Here's one of your old listeners, Craig. You can't read that far.
No, I can't. Can't read.
No,
right
Oh my
here.
God,
Denon.
they have Fisher as
Denon.
Fisher is an extra forward, not even in the top 12.
Mm.
You know what?
I don't
And
see
there are
that
going to be
happening.
nights that Christian Fisher is in and out of the lineup. He was the last 2 seasons, and he has done everything, as he said on our show. He's done everything he can to make sure that doesn't happen to him this year. He's the guy that's going to say, "Go here, I'm going to play there." He was taking faceoffs last night as a centerman. He's playing
Yeah.
power play and penalty kill. Unfortunately, there might be nights he comes out. This is going to be a lineup where I think Coach Cherney is going to have the flexibility to take guys in and out of the lineup on a
Sure.
nightly basis.
Unless there are injuries, of course, but
Let's see.
we'll see. Yeah, but this is cool actually seeing other people's lineups or actually not seeing them and having them read
Mike,
to me by Leah because all I can see is a blur.
Mike,
The Bear
G.
Pair. I like
Langford.
that
The Bear
name.
Pair?
I like that name for the defensive partnership.
That works better than
Wait.
the dancing bear.
The Bear Pair is Lybushkin and Gostisbear, the
Provolone.
Russian Bear and
Probably
Provenov.
the 2 Russians.
Well, where's Gostisbear? Can he be
Gostisbear
a
not
bear
there?
too? Gostisbear.
Gostisbear not there.
No.
See,
I
now,
can't see.
Can we pair
We've already
Gostisbear?
established that I can't see.
I
on
think
screen,
it
Petey.
means Gostisbear and
Can Gostisbear and the Dancing Bear and the Ghost Bear can
and
they be
Bear
the Bear
and
Pair?
Coach Bear.
It could be. And
I think that makes more
Wow.
sense as the Bear Pair.
another T-shirt.
Another T-shirt. Oh my God.
Yeah, we talk about all these T-shirts. Where the hell is our T-shirt?
Yeah, seriously.
Like I know, like the Cardinals get a new shirt every other week. Well, that's 2 more than we
The
have.
Cardinals are also undefeated.
We
Yeah,
have
but-
one.
Don't they have 2 more?
Who's
besides their
leading in
podcast
merch
shirt?
sales, Shane? Who's leading in merch sales?
I'm not Mr. Bird.
I mean, why aren't we taking advantage of this? Why don't we have a Louis Erickson T-shirt? Why don't we have a
Well, I've talked about
whatever?
my
What are you
ideas.
calling the bear T-shirt now?
Hey, Craig, you want to go on Photoshop and make it real fast?
No,
I have
you don't
run
want
my ideas.
You don't
want
want to see those skills at work, buddy.
Is there one more? Okay.
Kroll, Schmaltz, Keller, Larson.
That one looks kind of like
Again,
the
it's
ones
the
we did.
center ice. They can move up and down the lineup, and I think they're going to do it on a daily basis. I really like Dave Hennings here. We've got Roussel and Beagle together, which I really like. He's got his extras there. And again, that's because it's really close to mine. That's a really good thing.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: like we've talked about them having all the one-way forwards now, and I look at the defense. I'm not sure that they're going to add another piece there, unless something really intriguing comes through waivers. How you feeling about goaltending? Like I saw Michael Hutchison was on waivers yesterday, and I was trying to find out if he had cleared.
I would be surprised if they pick somebody up on the waiver wire at the goaltender position. I'd be surprised.
Okay.
I think Carter Hutton played well enough last night that they feel confident in him, and I think there might be a three-headed monster backing up this season. You might see guys in and out.
I could see that too,
based on injuries or back-to-backs, and guys, they all have two-way contracts. I don't know their waiver situation on who's got to clear.
I haven't looked at the waivers exemptions, but you're right. They could rotate. Kozhinash and Vejmelka.
Yeah,
Tucson to get more playing time. Yeah.
I think Tucson's going to be a place where you're going to see a lot more rotation. Than we talk about Prosvetov being the guy down there trying to get as much ice time as he can, but I think Vejmelka and Kozhinash, I could see them going in and out just to get the ice time. It's an hour, 2 hours away.
I was going to say that's a huge advantage because the AHL team used to be in Maine.
Yeah,
and
can't get there from here. So this is a situation that you can get. It's 2 hours down the road. Nice. You could skate here in the morning.
What are you citing, by the way? What is that? I can't remember exactly what that is. Okay.
They weren't even born
I'm hearing
yet.
the Pepperidge Farm guy when you do that.
They weren't even
Pepperidge
born
Farm.
It was a skit about getting directions.
We're off the rails again.
What is happening today?
Reel us in. Where's that sign?
I know.
Quiet,
it hasn't come yet. Soon.
So long that what did you use for a delivery service here?
Clearly not Prime. Ask Saul.
Oh, it wasn't you ordering it?
No, Saul ordered it.
Okay.
Well,
Saul, where's our sign?
We're still speculating a lot. I understand we are still speculating a lot, but that's because we don't have all of the answers yet. We will in a week. But when
has all the answers.
I do.
Oh, look at this.
Segue.
Look at this.
All right, Shane. Oh, man. Well, I was going to say you can speculate even further on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, which is all betting is just speculating. Be sure to use that promo code PHNX. Can you stop looking at me like that? Oh, my God. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code PHNX to bet just $1 in any NFL game, win $100 in free bets if either team scores a point. So you got to take advantage of that offer so you can get your free bets just in time for NHL season to start next week. I'm super excited to get into that, and I will. Shane and I are going to collaborate on coming up with some bets, right, Shane? No.
Apparently, it's all speculating, and I don't know anything. If you listen to my bets show, you won't speculate.
I listen to your bets show every day because
I'm talking about the people.
Oh my gosh. Anyway,
at least we'll have a nicer table arrangement when Aaron takes over. So.
And
oh my God.
Wow. It is seriously, it's vicious today.
And speaking of proper, I don't know. I was gonna try and transition it. I can't do it.
From table arrangement, I want to hear this.
Proper aesthetics.
Proper aesthetics.
Yeah, that's good. Let's hear from Petey about our
proper
about
aesthetics.
Our sponsor.
Do you have a new one for us?
Oh yeah,
I do.
Oh my God!
He wouldn't tell us before. So
how are you doing this?
You know what? It's hockey season. You know what that means? It's time to get out the Zamboni and clean up the playing surface. And you can clean up your playing surface with our sponsors of today's show, Manscaped. Slashing through hairs has never been easier, and it's time for you to join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by using code PHNX at manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping. The Performance Package 4.0 from Manscaped is the perfect package for your package, and a key for great grooming and hygiene routine to make sure the boys downstairs are as smooth as Louis Erickson on the power play. The Performance Package also includes the Weed Whacker. The Elite Nose and Ear Hair Trimmer is also waterproof and uses a 9,000 RPM motor powered by 360-degree rotating dual blade system. It helps prevent snags and tugs. No nicks, no cuts, no fuzzy nuts. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code PHNX at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. And use the code PHNX. Oh, I can't read the rest of it. That was bad. It said stiff arm those pubes out of the playoffs this year with Manscaped. Oh. See, I didn't read the last line. That's about writing. I guess would have cut that out. Manscaped.com. No nicks, no cuts, no fuzzy nuts.
Wow.
Back to the show.
You work with someone for 20 years. You think you know him.
I know.
That was iconic.
And then you realize.
The Zamboni. The Zamboni actually is. It does. It scrapes, it cleans, and it resurfaces just like their resurfacing
Well
gel
played,
does.
Petey.
It's great.
Well played.
Wow.
Insane.
I think you should do these reads always.
Well, Petey, Craig, you're
Craig's
up to
time
bat
is coming.
next week.
Yeah, by the way, next week Craig may have to read one of these and make sure the minions cut that out and save that for prosperity. Enough said. Back to the show. We got a lot to cover, and it's
We do. I know we're running out of time, but we do want to talk about some of the news around the NHL
Wow,
because
we are running out of time.
I know.
I know time flies.
It's been that
when you're
landscaping.
talking about
It
landscaping
was.
for half the
Seriously,
show.
it was.
Oh man, well let's quickly talk about some news around the NHL because there is lots of it.
Oof.
Where should we start?
I don't know. Not
Ro-
much of it's good news.
Yeah,
so-
let's start with
Yeah, we'll do quick hits on these.
let's start with Robin Leonard, who over the weekend tweeted some, I guess, accusations against teams, coaches, related to giving drugs and I don't know.
Yeah, giving them pills, helping them sleep.
Yeah.
And he
Go
called out Philadelphia Flyer head coach Elaine Vigneault by name.
Yeah.
My problem with this are a couple things. I don't mind whistleblowers on a team or a player saying this is happening and it's wrong. I think that that's a good thing.
Mhm.
Okay. The problem in this situation is Robin Lehner's never played in Philadelphia. He's never played with Elaine Vigneault. He doesn't know Elaine Vigneault. That's a pretty tough accusation to make for an organization you're not affiliated with. So that's one. I don't have a problem with Robin Lehner standing up for himself. He's got his strong beliefs and he makes a lot of comments. If I'm a Vegas Golden Knight management coach, teammate, I'm getting concerned. Shut your mouth. Look, we got a game in a week. How does this have anything to do with what we're doing here? And will that detract or pull away from your performance on the ice? Are you going to draw unnecessary attention to yourself and our team right now when we're trying to make a return to our playoff status that we've reached the last few years?
From a reporter standpoint, this is what bugs me about it. I agree with you completely. Whistleblowers are essential.
Agreed.
We need to shine a light on all these sorts of things that are happening behind the scenes, and they need to have a voice if something like this is happening. At the same time, as a reporter, I think too many are too quick to just laud Robin Leonard for coming out and telling us what's happening. Do we have proof? Have you done the research? Have you done the necessary reporting to back what he is saying right now? Not yet. It hasn't happened yet. So stop celebrating him. We can shine a light on it. We can talk about it. We can say this is concerning, but let's stop lauding Robin Leonard right now until we know exactly what's happening. That's not your role as a journalist. Do your job, do the work, find out what's happening.
And I will say one last comment on him before we move on. And Robin Lehner is a big champion for the league when it comes to mental health issues.
Yes.
He's got a history of his own personal demons, some things he's been through. And when we talk about applauding him for that, absolutely. He's told stories on what that's like. He's helped people along the way. He's helped other people be able to come out and deal with some mental health issues that maybe didn't think they had a voice. Good on him for that.
Mhm.
Absolutely applaud him for that. I don't want to leave thinking we're Robin Lehner bashers because that's what we're talking about. It's a personal thing he's been through and he's helping people.
Yes.
This is not his story to tell. It's Jack Eichel's story to tell. So let Jack tell that story. That's all I'm Robin.
Or others, if it's happening to others. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
and he ended up walking back his comment, his
On Elaine
accusations
Vigneault.
on Elaine Vigneault, and
Exactly.
then it came out that he did have a conversation with the NHL that. So
Yeah, Elliot Friedman had
Yeah.
tweeted shortly after the comments came out that was going to happen.
Yeah.
And clearly the NHL wants to reach out anyway because they're in a little bit of damage control and a little bit of
Yeah.
information gathering mode. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on the subject of Jack Eichel, actually just today, it was reported that they're now releasing his medical files to other teams that could help with possibly trading him. Up until this point, Buffalo was not letting other teams see his medical files, which was, a hindrance to
it's
moving him
unbelievable,
out of
right?
there.
What are
But
you doing? If you're trying to trade him, what are you doing?
But this morning, Darren Drager reported that that those records are now out. So hopefully that can help inch this thing forward because it has been stagnant for months.
It's illogical. They
Yeah.
need to move him. He's clearly not going to play for the Buffalo Sabres ever again.
And
He clearly has value on the market, but teams need to know how damaged is he? What's the prognosis for him? So I have no idea what the Sabres have been doing, but I can say that about everything the Sabres have done for the past decade.
very true. And Robin Lehner also was talking a lot about his time with the Sabres too.
That's a dysfunctional franchise.
To tie it that all together. Another piece. Well, let's just stay in the negatives, and then we'll move. Then we'll turn the corner into more positive. The Evander Kane investigation.
Which part?
And this is the second investigation, not the original one. It came out yesterday, I believe, that the investigation involves something to do with the use of a fake vaccination card, and that the investigation had to do with the league's COVID protocol. So
I'm speechless on this.
I just
one.
don't know what to say about Evander Kane anymore.
Yeah, I what I would say is this guy ever going to play in the league again?
It's hard when if he wasn't an elite player that contributed to their scoring in San Jose, I think we would have forgotten about it by now, and San Jose would move on.
Mm.
It makes it more difficult when he's a good player. And I know that's not to make excuses for behavior and how you perform and portray yourself away from the ice. But if you're good,
it's just the way pro sports operate.
Exactly. Yeah. So Evander Kane right now has become such a distraction inside that room. I don't know how he walks through those doors again and plays another game for the San Jose Sharks. If any of this is true. If it's not true, we'll move on. He'll play and wait for his day either in court or with committees and commissions with the league. And again, innocent till proven guilty, but there's one after another. It's a dark cloud following him around, and hopefully we get some clarity and we can move on, because I know the league doesn't want to deal with these negative stories and these negative things right now. They're trying to embrace a whole new season, and good things are happening in the league, and that's where they want to be on all this.
yes, and just to be clear, they're investigating a possible use. So, like Petey said,
Alleged.
Alleged use, but that is what the investigation is centered around. All right, let's get into some more positive news. What? Maybe he won. Oh my God! Maybe he won the card gambling. Oh my gosh!
Wow.
Oh Lord! All right, in Vancouver, some news. Elias Pettersson signed a 3-year agreement worth $7.35 million, and Quinn Hughes signed for 6 years at $7.5 million. I know they were anxious to get those deals signed in Vancouver.
Pettersson, what do you make of that? That's him betting on his future, right?
Absolutely. And he's so well liked up there. He is such a talented player.
Sure.
If you haven't seen him play either in person or on TV, he's a guy you want to watch for. He makes things happen, and as he gets more experienced and stronger, physically stronger, he is going to be an elite player in the years to come. So for him, betting on his future, I think is a smart bet.
Yeah, he's going to cash in with a big contract after that 3 years is up. On the flip side, Quinn Hughes, 6 years. Quinn Hughes can do some amazing things on the offensive end of the ice, but I got to be honest, I don't think Quinn Hughes can defend a lick.
But isn't that the mode of today's small
maybe, but
offensive defenseman?
I mean, you have to reach a level of competency, and I don't think he's even a competent defender. I think he's a bad defender.
Wow, Craig is just stirring up the Vancouver fan
Here we
base
go.
every
but
show.
Hey, Louis Eriksson is enjoying a renaissance Vancouver. So.
And while we're talking about
Take heart
contracts,
in
I'm
that.
going to step on Leah right now and get to Brady Tkachuk. Is this like father like son?
Maybe.
Like
yeah,
how
he
many
had to hold
times
out
did
too.
he hold out? Twice here in Arizona? Once for an extended period of time,
Yes.
for sure, in 98 or 99, where he waited.
He lost the
long.
captaincy, right?
Yeah,
Because of that.
I
Yeah.
know.
Didn't Matthew
So-
hold out too?
Did Matthew hold up? Boy, I don't
Not
even
to
remember
this
now.
length. And I don't know the particulars. I'm not involved with the Ottawa Senators. They need him to play. Like, he needs to be part of this future and the growing and what they're doing with their prospects. He's got to play. So I don't get it. What's holding it up? I don't know if it's a money, if it's a term, it's a no trade, or if it's whatever it is. They need to figure it out because he's got to play.
We're talking about Buffalo and Ottawa again.
Yeah, but Ottawa's
It's
a different
amazing, right?
situation though, because Ottawa's got their group of young players.
Is good.
Ottawa,
really
there's
good.
hope in Ottawa.
And I tell you what, when you watch that team play, they might lose 6-4, 6-5, and not get their wins. But boy, are they exciting to watch! They skate fast. It's a good offensive team, and there's some upside there that you just don't see in Buffalo right now. So they need to get him signed and back in the fold.
No doubt.
For sure. This one I like because as a Canadian, and I know I'm a dual citizen, but I cheer for Team Canada in the Olympics. Team Canada had to submit players to the roster, and they submitted Crosby, McDavid, and Pietrangelo.
Locks.
Yeah.
Locks on the roster.
Yep. And they have till October 15th to submit 55 players to join those
Such
three.
as Jacob Chikrin.
So is that a PR move, Craig? Like, what's the purpose of saying those three?
Probably.
Like, what's the point?
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know.
like, wait.
Because I
Maybe
was
it's a
trying to
PR
see
move.
if Team USA had done that, and they hadn't.
So because if I'm doing 3 locks, I would sure think about McKinnon and Matthews, or Matthews is an American. Sorry, Austin.
Yeah, but Nate McKinnon?
But Nate McKinnon's got to be a lock on that. It's one of the fastest power forwards, strong, does everything he asks for. I mean, you could go. There's multiple people that could go on this list, but I wonder what their thinking was. These 3.
I don't
Like,
know.
why release it? What was the point?
I don't know.
You
Silence?
could always ask Shane Doan.
I don't know.
Well, we're talking about it on our
And
podcast.
I, the Austin Matthews thing, I cannot believe I threw his name in there. I just think he's
Because you think of Toronto.
submitted from the list in Toronto, but Austin Matthews clearly. If
Arizona's
now
own.
does Team USA follow and put out their list now? Is that what we need to do?
Maybe.
I don't know.
To one
We'll
up them.
speculate on
It's
that
like
in
the,
February because
It's
these
like the
rosters,
Suns-Coyotes rivalry.
those rosters are going to drive me nuts because what these two teams, both Canada and USA Hockey, do is they make sure they take care of those guys that should be on the roster, and they
Mhm.
make the roster, not the players that are playing the best at the time that can help your country, the third and fourth line guys that make up your mix. They put the big name players that are Americans or Canadians on those teams, and sometimes they miss the guys that should be there to help you win.
Yeah.
The advantage Canada has clearly is it's a numbers game. They
An
can put
unbelievable
2
pool.
teams.
Yeah,
They put
exactly.
2 teams in.
Why do you
and
think that
compete.
happens? What is it? Just a political game? It's just
Absolutely. But these are-
egos and
and it's hard. I know more of the USA Hockey system than Hockey Canada, so it's not fair for me to critique their system. In USA Hockey, you get picked on these national teams and nationally recognized at such a young age. And if you play on those teams throughout, your 15, 16, 17, through the NDP program, you're on their radar, and they kind of, I don't want to say they owe you, but you're a USA Hockey guy now.
Yeah.
And you get those. If it's you or another guy and you played NDP, you're there. So we'll critique those rosters later.
Yeah, it's October
I
6th,
know.
and
Sorry.
the Olympics start.
You brought it up.
Well,
You put it in the thing.
Olympic hockey starts February 10th. I was just, it's a piece of news.
and a break. The Olympic break. Are you
Yes.
looking forward to the Olympic break? I'm looking forward to the Olympic break.
I just love
haven't even
the
started the
winter.
season yet, but
I
I'm saying
love
that.
the Winter Olympics so much. I love
Yeah,
it.
me too. Actually, more than the Summer
Me too.
Olympics. Yep.
Well, great show, everyone.
Wow.
We're done already.
We're done. But be sure, like I said at the beginning, follow us on Twitter at PHNX_Coyotes. If we hit 5,000 followers, Espo will take a slap shot. We need to see it happen. Please, please, please follow us on Twitter. Tell everyone. And you can follow us on Twitter too, because that's where, Craig is, and
That's where Craig is.
Craig has all
It's
the
true.
information.
It's true.
That's my only plug, really.
We could, we should get some old school goalie equipment for Espo too. We
I
put him
have
in
some.
that, so I'll bet you do.
I do.
So do I.
Oh
Mine
my
must be
gosh.
scary up in
Dusty.
the attic at this
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh. And while you're at it, be sure to follow PHNX Sports on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you're listening to this as a podcast, please subscribe. And please give us a rating and a review. So,
Only good ratings and
yes.
reviews, though.
Yes. That would make us very happy. Thanks again for listening. Oh, should we tease our guest on Friday?
Yes. I thought you had something planned for
Well,
it.
you did it. So
I did do it. I did tease it last night, actually.
You did. You did.
After the shootout, I asked why everybody doesn't use Redeem Verbata's shootout move, because
Well,
it's unstoppable when it's executed
And
correctly.
we can
So
ask
we'll
him.
get to ask Redeem Verbata himself on
But-
Friday, because he will be on the show.
he will be via the intranet, the wonderful
The
World Wide Web.
internet.
the internet. Isn't that what
Yes.
they call it? The web?
Yeah.
I don't know.
World Wide Web.
I'm not that old.
Okay.
But because of that, we have a time zone change.
Oh,
Right?
yes.
9 hours.
A time
I
change
gave
for our
Verby the option
show.
of coming on the earlier show. He chose the later one
So we will.
because
Yes.
this game will be over. The kids will
So
be taken
those
care
tuning
of.
in
so.
at 9 a.m.
We'll be disappointed because we will be live at 1 o'clock
1
on
p.m.,
Friday
that's right.
with
1 p.m.
Redeem
on Friday
Verbata.
for Redeem Verbata.
So
We're going
please-
to talk about a lot of things with Verby. I have another story coming that will be up, and we'll talk to him about that as well. But for those of you who listened to our podcast in previous years, Radim Verbata also will give us pronunciations of all the Czech names. And
Which
they'll
we
sound nothing like anything we ever say, including his own name, which sounds like this, Radim Verbata. That's what he did on the show. That's how he
Wow.
says it in Czech.
Wow, I cannot wait for
Can't
us
wait
to
to have
do that.
Verby. Great guy. Looking forward to having him
I'll be tuning
on the
in.
show.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you later in the week.